Okay, I am calling I have to read here. Monday, October 23rd, 2023 meeting of the Franklin Public Library Board of Trustees meeting to order. It is 6:02 p.m. and our secretary is not here. So do I have, I know I get to appoint someone, but before I appoint someone, does someone want to do it? Am I allowed to do it myself? Because I can do it. I will do it.
We also have a recording.
We do have a
We have a
recording,
recording.
so I will do, I'm appointing myself to take my own notes tonight, so let's do it that way. I am going to do a roll call here. This is Maria Imp. Judy Williams-Kalaki is excused. Doris Weber.
Here.
Terry Barris.
Here.
Anne Marie Vitas Klubgia is also excused. Alan Alexandrovich.
Here.
Mike Karalevitz is excused. Michelle Eichmann is not here yet, and Annalie Bennon.
Here.
Okay, wonderful. We have a visitor this evening, Brian from Greendale. So there we go. That's exciting. We'll move right on to the approval of the minutes from the September 25th meeting. Did anybody see anything, notice anything, need anything brought up? Okay, then do I have a motion to
I
approve?
make a motion.
Okay, Doris?
Second.
We're gonna give it to Alan this time. You can call next one, Annalie. Okay, moving on to Alan's finance report.
Okay, I looked through the invoices for Fund 15. I saw nothing that looked out of the norm. So I'm looking for a motion. There's something that did catch, oh, that was a math thing. Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve the invoices for Fund 15 in the amount of $17,521.34.
So moved.
Terry, do I have a second? I will second. I will take notes, I will second motions, all right. Any other questions about those invoices? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
Fund 16 there's only 4
Yeah.
invoices. I'm looking for a motion to approve $2,749.98.
So moved.
Terry?
Second.
Doris? Is a second. Did they do that dance program already?
It's November 3rd.
And is it common that we pay those ahead of time?
We get
Or
the
does-
check so that we have the check when
I
they
see.
here and we hand it to them. We never pay them before in case
Right,
they don't
okay.
show, but we
Right,
have
okay.
the check.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Did we pass that?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I don't think we did all
No,
in favor.
okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstain? Okay, motion carries.
I don't think we had a formal vote on the previous one.
Yeah, we did.
Did we? Okay.
Yes.
I'll take your word for that.
Okay.
All right. Reviewing the financial statements, the report through September is 74.79% of the year. For Fund 15, our revenue that we've collected is 97.49% of the budget. Our investment earnings were $3,546. Total expenditures were 70.79% of the budget. And it would have been a little bit higher, but they didn't have the
Again.
electric bill out
Okay.
there in time, so. Jennifer did tell me what it was like $9,700.
9606 or something, yeah.
Okay. And 37 cents, right?
Yeah,
Roughly.
roughly.
Anyway, we didn't have it, so we're gonna be doubled up next month and we'll look a little worse. Other than those accounts and the accounts discussed in prior months, expenditures were as anticipated. Fund 16, total revenue 97.52% of budget. Expenditures were 89.87% of budget. And other than the accounts discussed in prior months, that I didn't see anything that jumped out at me.
It does seem like the investments are trending down, or there's been a steady decline.
Small,
But, yeah,
but far more than what we had budgeted. So
right, exactly,
Certainly will not complain about that.
right.
Then on the financials where we have the months all laid out, did
Yep.
anybody see anything that jumped out at them? Because I did not, other than the electric bill.
Right.
Yeah. This was just a calm month. There's nothing happening.
Except the parking lot.
Except the parking lot, yeah. And the city's paying for that, so we're all right. Fund 16, again, I didn't see anything. There's limited activity, small dollar amounts. So, nothing there.
Looking good.
Moving along to the cash register sheet, it tied out perfectly,
No,
again.
again, and again, and again.
And then the credit card summary, the only thing that jumped out at me was in conferences, was $711 there. And I talked to Jennifer about it, this is basically the conference they're going to later this week, yeah.
Okay. And who's they? Is it you and Karen?
Myself, Brinny, and Sam. I was trying to think of the third one.
Okay, all right.
We try to kind of
Yeah,
rotate.
rotate around, yeah.
Except I get to go every year because
Well, right.
I have to get the CE credits.
Right, right.
And that is the end of my report.
Any questions for Alan? All right, then we are gonna move along to agenda item 5A under new business, which is the adoption of the 2024 mayor's recommended budget for Fund 15. Jennifer has scripted out the motion for that, and before we do that, does anybody have any questions or comments on that? It was pretty much the requested, what we requested, and I'll touch on that a little bit more during my report. My only question, and we every year we have to go through this, so that 2023 activity,
Yeah.
is that a projection or is that today's
No,
numbers?
that's not even today's numbers.
That- right, that
It's,
was at
it's
the-
back in September. sometime.
Right, right. So the second to the last column, 2023 activity through December 31st, that is not correct. Like that was as of the,
Right, we don't have
the
the.
budget, yeah.
We don't have the payroll in there.
right.
For the next
So,
couple months yet.
so that's the only thing we have to just remember, that column there is, really from probably end of September or when they did the budget. Okay,
And the other thing is when you're looking at the ending fund balance and it shows like $604,000, well, of course, we haven't got 3 months worth of
Yeah.
Right.
expenses in there.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So
Okay.
that's way overstated.
Yeah.
Okay. Would somebody like to read that, motion for us?
The library board will move to adopt the 2024 library proposed budget, Fund 15, with $1,535,304 of revenues and $1,512,253 of operating expenditures and capital expenditures of $163,481.
So moved.
You have a second? Is that a second? Oh,
Well, she was
she
reading.
moved it, yeah.
Oh, that was a
I'll
movement?
move.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a second then.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments on Fund 15? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstained? Okay. And then the Fund 16, which is also referred to as the 2024 auxiliary library budget. And that is pages 16 and 17 of this. And again, our motion is scripted.
Sure, the library board will move to adopt the 2024 auxiliary library proposed budget with $62,800 of revenues, $47,800 of operating expenditures, and capital expenditures of $15,000.
That was Annalee.
Second.
And Alan seconds again. Excellent. Does everybody understand the highlighted? That was the only thing that I believe was changed from our requested budget. So that's why those two are highlighted on the first page, and then the difference on the second page, so. Okay, all in favor of adopting the auxiliary budget?
Aye.
Or I guess, yeah, approving it. Anybody opposed or abstained? You really get to, I mean, it's the mayor that
Right.
adopts it, but yeah, anyways. All righty, sounds good. All right, the next agenda item is looking at these job descriptions for the library director, and then the next agenda item is the adult services librarian, and then the third one is the circulation supervisor job description. So the personnel committee has been meeting regarding this, but it was really Jennifer and her staff that did all the work on this. Last year, we took a very close look at Jennifer's job description, the library director's job description, and no changes were made this year. So I'm looking for a motion
I
to.
make the motion.
Okay. To reaffirm the library director's job description. Moved by Doris Weber. I will second that. Any questions or comments about that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstained? Motion carries. Okay, then in keeping with the format, to keep the format consistent across the job descriptions, this was again something that the city has kind of asked, that the city asked all the department heads to look at all the job descriptions. And so we proactively, are trying to get them all into the same format and that kind of thing. If down the line, they ask for that, or especially if they're gonna go to these merit-based job increases or something like that. So the adult services librarian's job description was fairly majorly changed as far as the look and the organization of it. There were some other changes made to it, additions, subtractions, but so we are calling this a revision, not just a reaffirmation. So, any questions about the assistant director, adult services librarian?
Yeah, I had a question on all three of them, and I
Okay.
talked to Jennifer about it.
Sure.
And it's under physical demands.
Mm-hmm.
The third paragraph, right after the employee is required to move 35 pounds, it says, specific vision abilities required by this job include close vision, distant vision, and the ability to adjust focus. What the devil is the ability to adjust focus?
You got some of these from either city job descriptions
This is
or
the
other?
physical demands. The physical demands were just copy and pasted from the
From the,
from the city.
from the city.
So it's
yeah.
in all. It's in
It's on
all
all
of them.
the
And I kind of wish Judy Williams was here because she
Yeah.
might be able to enlighten us as to what.
What that,
Yeah,
I'm guessing that it just means that you're able to look from like the computer screen to,
without fainting or something. What?
yeah.
You know, adjust focus. I go, yeah, first thing when I get up in the morning, okay, I'm good.
I'm adjusted.
But on a job, really?
Well, and then
What-
it brings
what-
up a concern of then,
Are you
if
able-
that's a physical demand, is it, but it's not under requirements, is it, or qualifications?
you're
My concern
working-
would be then is it get into issues with, fair employment, I can't think of the term, but you know, like,
Well, this is
Well-
just letting the.
right, these are the
person-
demands of the job.
This is what's
Right.
going to happen.
Mhm.
Well, if you're working
Right.
the information desk and you think about you're looking things up on a
Exactly.
computer, and then you have to look at the person,
Right.
and you're going back and
Yeah.
forth. I guess you would be refocusing.
Sure, sure.
Do you know anybody who has that problem and can't do it?
Maybe, I don't.
At least they
Never-
know what's
I've
out there,
never-
right?
Right.
They know that they're gonna have to be able to do that.
Okay.
And then they.
I was gonna say, is it
It's out
really-
there.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
probably wouldn't put that on
No.
on myself. I would never have thought that way.
Okay.
I guess
and I know years ago
somebody thought it was important. Somebody
Yeah.
needed it at some point, and that's why it got in there.
well, and I think too, there's been different kinds of trends within the past 20 years in the city. Like, wasn't there a time when we were almost handed job descriptions versus us really creating them? So I'm guessing that was maybe a throwback to that time when it
The city
was-
did all
the
of
city
them.
did all of them. Yeah. Would you like us to look into it before we vote on it?
No.
Or okay. All right.
It's really not that important.
Okay,
It's just
but you're
when I
just
see
curious.
these screwy things, I bring them up.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep us on our toes. All right. So then, would somebody like to move to approve the revision to the adult services
I'll make a
librarian?
motion to approve the revision.
As stated in agenda item 5D.
Yes, correct.
Exactly. Okay, Doris, and do I have a second?
I'll second.
Terry? All right, any other questions about that?
Let it go from here.
All right, you can't ask it for, well, I guess you could. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstain? Okay, and then the same thing with the circulation. Now we're gonna call her the circulation manager, just bringing all those things into consistent format. So it was a pretty major shuffle, but nothing really hugely new. She has to be able to see too.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring up the book stack.
Yes, I was going to. I was trying to find out where I had that. I had it as.
You didn't mark it?
wait,
Oh,
You circled it.
Yeah, I circled it on my notes here. Anyway,
which,
there was.
under this one or under,
It's
Under
on
7.
page 22.
okay.
Helps maintain book stacks.
Oh, yeah.
Book stacks. I had asked Jennifer what that was.
Oh.
And she says, oh, that's
That's
the,
the
the
shelves.
shelves. So why don't we call it
You
the
didn't
shelves?
know that? Oh, no.
No,
I
I'm
said
thinking,
there are things.
why do we stack them? Put them on shelves.
Right.
Don't we have enough shelves?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
There's lots of space out there. We don't have to stack up.
So I'd recommend we change that from book stacking to.
But is that the professional term?
I was going,
no. I
really?
told Alan it'd be nice to have somebody, a layperson, read this and say, this is library lingo, you gotta fix that.
I was gonna say.
Because we
I've
don't
always
always
heard them
notice,
referred
we
to as
read through it and we're
book
like,
stacks.
it doesn't jump out to us.
When we were talking about it, you also said that you thought this was something that we only used in Franklin too.
Yeah.
Book stacks?
Stacks.
Do you call them book stacks in Greendale?
See,
What do you
it
call them?
is.
I knew he was gonna say that. Oh,
I
okay.
think that's and to be honest, I think it's kind of a Maureen thing, and she's the one who redid her.
Oh, is that
She's the one who
funny?
looked over her.
Well, this might come out of
I've
the,
heard of book stacks all
yeah,
the time.
like a
I
academic.
honestly, I
Yeah.
thought it meant like the displays.
Oh.
So it's good.
When
to
I
Well, then
read
let's
it.
call them
Clarifying.
shelves so we know what we're
Yeah.
talking about. So it's on page 22. Where is that? Up
It's
in
the
the-
fourth. It's the fifth bullet point from the bottom.
Oh, 1, 2, 3.
Watch this will
Book
backfire.
stacks. Got it. Okay. Alrighty. We're changing it to shelves.
Much more clear.
Much more clear. Good job, Alan. All right, then do we have a motion to not only, well, to approve this revision, including that change of words?
Motion to approve the revision of the circulation manager in addition to changing it to the words book stacks to shelves.
Okay.
I second.
All righty. So Annalee and Doris. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
I,
Aye. Anybody opposed or abstain? Motion carries. Whew! We get to now listen to Jennifer give us her update on the action plan. It's exciting, all the
It
red.
is. That's what I said
I
when I was
know.
going through it. I was like, oh,
Wow, yeah.
there's a lot of completed, although the red always kind of makes, I told Alan, the red makes me think it's not.
Oh.
Like, Aruga, you need.
But didn't we do
red
that for
means-
Mike?
Yes,
Yes.
and Mike,
He's not even here.
Oh, we
It's not
could change it
there, I
then if it had been
know.
on the agenda.
so, our goal of surveying program participants regarding future programming offerings and report findings, that's ongoing. Obviously, we're not done with that, but we're making some progress, although I have to remind the librarians all the time to put the surveys out and
Gotcha.
encourage patrons. But again, I think I said this at the last time I did the update. When you have a music program and you put a survey out, they say they love it and they want more music.
Exactly,
And
because
it's
they're
kinda
at a
like
music
finding-
program.
right.
And I think that was something that we have brought up in the past, that we're not just surveying the people that are at the programs,
Programs,
because
but-
they're obviously, right, that somehow we need to maybe
Yeah.
do something once in a while, more like what would they
More
like to
general
see.
with when they're
Mhm.
not in the program.
Right,
Wasn't I think there is like a link on the main page of the website, isn't there, to a survey? I swear it was just on it and there was a link to a
Unless-
survey.
Sam might have put something on there. Because Sam and Laura were the ones, well, I mean.
A while ago, a couple years ago, didn't we try, like, you had little things out?
Oh,
towards
that
the-
was for the strategic plan, which will
Oh,
be
that's
coming up
right,
next year,
yeah.
which will be
Like,
coming
what
up
would you
next
like
year.
to see, or what do you
Mhm.
like, or, yeah.
And we had our laptops out so people could go
Right,
and just,
right.
yeah,
Okay.
take the survey. So that's ongoing and in process.
Mm-hmm.
The outreach
Mm-hmm.
with the local senior living apartments, that is pretty much, I mean, Brittany's already started one at Brentwood
Yep.
and they love it and they want her,
bet.
actually more, which is where Laura kind of comes in.
Sure.
How many did they have at the last one? I forgot to ask her.
I can't remember. She
Kids
didn't
or
tell me,
seniors?
but both. She
Both,
combines
okay.
both.
Right, now I know, but,
Yeah.
so a lot of kids are participating, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So, and they love it there and they
Oh, I'm
want
sure.
her to like come more often. And she's like,
How?
yeah,
Yeah.
how can I do
Yeah.
this all? So that's good. Sam reminded me that he did not only one VR program, but he did two.
Yes,
and he was a little upset with me for
But
only
you
putting
forgot.
one. Yeah.
Wow, that's funny.
One was in April and the other one
Oh,
was
yeah.
in August.
Okay.
So I have to be a little quieter and shut the door, the
Yeah,
study
well.
door. So anyway, the one thing we have, and he's brought this up to me, Meta says 13 and over.
Right,
And we are getting a lot of kids under 13 that want to use it, and we're
Yeah.
saying no
Right.
because of the Meta
guidelines.
guidelines.
I'm sure some of that has to do
Some
with.
of the parents will say, well, we were at Discovery World and we were able to use their virtual reality, with, you know. So
Yeah.
that's kind of one thing maybe we want to take a little closer look at.
My concern-
But we allow those kids to do it without parents present, right? In a Discovery World, the parents have to.
No,
stand in there No?
only ages 16 and older can be in there without.
Without
parents.
parent,
I think,
okay.
it's.
I mean, I'm sure that comes from, brain development, vision, all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And I wonder if just doing a little bit more research, maybe
Yeah.
the Pediatric Association has a guideline for that, or maybe
Yeah,
Meta
that's a good
has
idea.
changed their guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably when he put that in.
When we first
we
got
first
the VR many years ago, what was that,
Yes,
2018?
yeah. Those
I
are the-
remember at the time, the recommendation by the pediatricians was like 12.
Okay.
So we had
Maybe
it
we could
12,
take
we
a-
had it 12 and up at one
Okay,
point.
at one point.
But then
Meta.
Yeah.
I guess yeah.
So
I don't know.
anyway.
I figure if Meta, if it's their system that we're using and that's their recommendation, it would be smartest to follow it because they may have a reason. I mean, they obviously have a reason for that, and if we,
Well, I thought Sam could work on it, do
Yeah,
some research
yeah.
and survey other libraries that
Yeah.
have VR and
right,
see.
right, and
what
some
their
of this other
practices are
research
and
with
policies.
Okay, I don't see a survey on there. I could have sworn there was.
You're making
But
it
so
up.
maybe he could put a link to one. I don't know if people would take it from there, but maybe.
Well, yeah, if Sam would have some, I'm sure. like all staff, has tons of free time to
Yeah.
look into the
Yeah,
VR guidelines and if they've
It just-
changed
yeah.
or, you know.
so,
What about Greendale? Do you have a VR program?
No.
Okay.
We're super small, we
Yeah.
haven't dabbled in
In-
any of the waters that you guys are in.
Right, you don't have room for that kind of thing, yes.
Right.
so, yeah, so Sam can work on that as he gets time.
Yeah.
Maybe when the virtual
Yeah.
reality policy comes back around for review, we can discuss it again.
Right, okay,
Or I could just put it on the agenda.
yeah, okay.
Library outreach and passive programming for tweens and teens got a little delayed, but it's in progress.
You know what, I've got a question to go back to the virtual reality
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
just 1 second. How many parents are we talking about that question?
I don't know, because it was at the program, Sam
Oh,
brought
at
it
the
up
program.
after the
Okay.
programs, yeah.
I would be curious, is it just like one family that's asked, or is it like
I got the
5,
sense
10?
from Sam it's been multiple,
Oh, okay.
not just one.
Okay.
Do any of your classrooms use VR technology for any like science-y things or?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so then that would be another
But I mean, in the
question
past,
or
it's-
guideline, would it, what age?
We haven't had any, like I've had it in districts I've worked in, and we don't have any specific guidelines to it because you're under the guide of the educator in the classroom.
Right, oh, sure, sure,
So there hasn't
Okay.
been anything specific to parents that have to approve it for
Right.
them to be present.
right.
Okay. Moving on to Community Hub, evaluate and implement the use of meeting room scheduling software.
Yep.
Andy has assured me he and Sam are really close. So
They-
there was one module that they had to go, I don't know, they had to contact local hop because we didn't get everything in the training
Gotcha, okay.
module, or the
Okay.
demo
The demo
module
model, yeah,
that
okay.
we had asked, anyway, but he assures me that they are close.
Okay.
He really wants to try out every piece of it, huh?
Every piece of-
They like to be thorough.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely,
Yeah.
so,
And like we said at the last meeting, if we can get local hop for half of what LibCal
Heck
is,
yeah.
and it does the same, it does what we need it to do, then
Yeah.
it's a good thing.
All right, does
Um,
Greendale have a scheduling software?
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, we live and die by it.
What
Which
do
one do
you,
you
which
guys
one do you
We
use?
use something called Event Keeper.
Oh, great.
There's a
Are we
million.
gonna give
of them.
Sam another one, or?
I don't know, they might.
Like a million.
Yeah, yeah, okay. And I'm sure, I mean, my guess is that they researched them all and narrowed it down to these two, or they, yeah,
Like you said, there's a million.
Right,
So
I know.
We kind of were looking, we didn't look at Greendale, sorry. Cudahy. Cudahy and Shorewood and Oak Creek have local
Oh,
hop.
okay,
I think it's Menominee Falls had LibCal,
okay.
so.
Okay. Don't tell them about this other
We were
one.
kind of also looking at other libraries that have the same kind of
Spaces
Set
and,
up.
yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I remember that. Okay,
Uh,
sorry.
Carrie has slammed,
Yeah.
she has slammed the increased use of the create space way out. I mean, it's like probably 4 times what it was last year.
Right,
So,
yeah, for sure.
I mean, she has till Q4, but like, I'm like, yeah, you're done.
No, wait,
Crush.
turn your page back.
Full crush.
Yeah.
I kind of interrupted you. You were about to talk about the diverse community one there.
Oh, I
You-
skipped that
yeah,
one.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Never
I've got to talk with Laura, Sam, Andy, and
Mhm.
Brittany to see where they are on that.
mind. Okay,
And make sure that doesn't get buried.
yeah. Okay, good.
Increased use of tools, okay, so we talked about that.
Mhm.
Imagine some of it will slow down a little bit over the winter with the tools because
Sure.
not as many home projects
Yep.
going on. But. Carrie has purchased, she's developed her collection of Arabic, Punjabi, Urdu, and Hindi books. We've been talking about doing some kind of promotion
I
for
was
it,
gonna
like
say.
just a
Yeah.
program
So that-
where we highlight it,
Well, it's so
Or
people know
flyer.
that. Yeah.
so
I'm not sure people would automatically think to even look for those kind of materials here.
we do
So we
have
need to
them in the front, we have them in a pretty good spot.
Okay.
Well, and Brittany has a children's section too,
Yeah.
right? So I think it'd be helpful to have like some flyers, or like even the little ones and maybe like a couple big ones, just to let people.
Well, I guess my concern is that people that don't typically use the library for those materials
How do
wouldn't
they
even
know?
think to
Look for
look
them,
for
yeah,
them.
right.
So we need to not advertise here. We need to
Right.
advertise to the community somehow, or to get it out in the community.
How about in that Franklin newsletter that goes out, there's a page for the library.
Oh,
The
that's
next
a good idea.
time
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
submit for that, why don't, yeah, that would be great.
I also wonder what about in the school newsletters?
Yeah, 'cause we
like
can
putting
post.
the in there. That would probably be good to go out in their digital section there to the
Absolutely.
families.
And you have a way to submit to the.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like we shared that link last time.
Yep,
I can
that's what I
reshare it
thought.
too.
I remembered that, yeah.
Families are
Well, I would,
through there.
sure, sure. And I guess that would be a question then for your librarian, that if she notices, the need for a certain, books for families, not just the children in the school, but for the adults in a certain language, to make sure then you send that feedback back this way too, that we can help build our
Yeah,
collection here for
absolutely.
that, so.
I'll talk to Ms. Polways.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Brittany's sensory kits
Mm-hmm.
are done. She's got them circulating, so we'll get the 2023 cert numbers at the final
Mm-hmm.
update,
Yep.
action plan update meeting in January. Sarah's Wonder Books are never in, and I actually just gave her some more money to like, and I gotta figure out where to take it from.
Okay.
But they're just never in.
Yeah, they're never on the shelf. I look every time.
Yeah.
I wonder if
So,
that would be something,
We can get
to put on the
donated.
wish list or the foundation.
the foundation
maybe
gave us
could-
the starter
That's what
money
I-
for it,
okay.
and then the board supplemented it,
Right.
but then
We still, yeah, okay,
we still need more.
I know,
They're
I was-
expensive, they're
They are,
expensive.
yeah.
yeah. Do they hold up pretty good? Is there trouble like with them not?
So
I've
far.
I've even seen them gotten them from other libraries, and I mean, just like any other book,
Yeah,
that
they-
from maybe a little better than any other book. They're pretty heavy duty.
Sure.
They're- yeah.
Sure. Yeah, my girls check them out just for fun, because
Yeah.
even they're beyond the reading level, but,
They
just to
have-
see
I
what they
mean-
are, and they do have some young adult
Upper,
or
yeah.
upper, not
Mhm.
quite young adult, but, I'm just, how many times will those voices read before they start to glitch or something?
Oh,
I'm
I'm
just
sure.
curious, like what the life expectancy,
That's a
or
good
how many
question.
times are they generally checked out before they start
Die.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just,
There are other libraries that have had collections much longer than we have, so
yeah,
they can
maybe.
check the,
Yeah, I know some
Statistics
that
on
I
them.
was looking at Oak Creek looked definitely a lot more banged up in that, but I think they were a few years old.
But if they still read. I
Yeah,
mean,
they
if
were still
That
reading.
part is still working, that's the,
Right.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
we did have one that got damaged because the puppy got hold of it, but
Oh, wow.
that's gonna happen.
Boy, that would be a hard
And that was
bill
an
to-
expensive bill.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, ooh.
And she was okay with it.
Well, yeah.
When my kids checked out the playaways years ago, or it wasn't the playaways, the video playaway, I put them up and they had to ask me to use them.
Right, I
Because
know.
it was like $100
I know,
and
to replace,
something
yeah,
happened,
yeah.
so.
That's how I am with
Yeah.
any of the library books.
Yeah,
Partnerships with local daycares. They've got a pretty good established collection at Jubilee. So they're looking at possibly one other collection they can do this year. Moving on to marketing and awareness. So we've been pretty good about posting our 1 to 3 posts. Maybe even probably more than that every week, so that's been good. I don't see as many likes. I think that the use of Facebook might be
right,
scrolling
Yeah.
down a little
Yep.
bit. Our e-newsletter, we've started using, oh no, that's Andy's, sorry. Andy's video lists, he's been updating those.
Mhm.
I send him, every month I send him a list of the ones that drop off of Canopy. So
Gotcha.
he can update as he needs to.
Gotcha.
Sarah and Brittany presented
Yeah.
in person
That was awesome.
at all the schools.
Okay, is this where I bring up my wine that I gave to you earlier?
Which one? Oh, yeah. This is where you bring up your
Yeah.
wine.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
says present the SRP in person. I had to
Yeah.
ask Jennifer what SRP.
What SRP was. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I had to look at it like 2 or 3 times
Yeah.
because I said, I need.
When you're gonna use an
Yeah.
acronym, you write summer reading program and then parentheses SRP and then go nuts using it wherever you want after that.
My daughter's
It's
learning
another
pronouns.
library,
You do
it's
the
another
same thing.
library
Yeah.
thing.
No, it's a school board function too.
Right.
Yeah, again,
It's probably
There's
any-
a lot of acronyms in education.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
There's
right.
probably a lot of engineering too, and they know, yeah.
Yep.
But I do have to be more cognizant of that when I'm writing
Especially if
this
it's
out.
in the goals. I mean,
Right.
I guess you could, yeah,
Like Alan said, if somebody just picked this up and was reading it, they wouldn't know.
wouldn't know.
So our summer reading participation increased by 12% for adults, 11% for teens, and 21% for kids.
Wow. Yay.
Total signups were 1173 for all age groups. Last year was 1,005.
Nice.
So we've been working, this is where I was getting ahead of myself. We've been working on Patron Point, trying to get better at it. So our goal is to get to the monthly newsletters again, like we had.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's a little bit more work than our old program, but it also doesn't cost us $1,200 a year either.
Yeah.
So it's a free resource available from that Nicholas provides, so we want to take advantage of it.
Maybe once you guys get used to it, maybe it'll be less.
I think so, once we get some kind of routine, but summer reading hit and everything went crazy. But, program attendance was up over
Right.
2022 by 75% this year. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Every
Wow.
single program is full.
Yeah.
Even the Lincoln and the Badger State program had good attendance. So.
Good.
Further develop and interact with other community-based organizations and businesses at 3 more events. So we're really close, and we've got trunk or treat. So I'm
Okay,
sure.
that was my question. Like, there was no examples listed there.
No,
What does a lot of
so
progress
National
mean?
Night Out.
Okay. Okay.
National Night Out, our health and wellness fair.
Okay. Those are the kinds of things that
Um,
Trump are doing.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Moving on to organizational health. Create communication survey. So that's done.
Right. I remember that.
Yeah, and they all email, and I reminded them that they have to check their email once a shift
Mm-hmm.
to keep up with everything. Work with library board finance committee to develop the 2024 budget is done. Develop a 3-year plan with staffing, finances, and personnel to present to the library board, which is supposed to do with the May library board. That's in progress, so that will be done. Work with city staff and the library board to implement enhanced safety and security measures. I'm happy to say, between the security system and the new parking
The new
lot lights,
lights.
it's looking pretty good. And somebody had talked about how much they appreciate the brighter lights at night.
Good. Yeah.
Somebody who can't see real well was saying how much easier it is for her to walk out to her car.
Oh, nice. Good. Good. Good.
Carrie, you all know,
Yep.
she
Husband.
she banged that one out of the park. Fortunately for her, probably she
Yeah, I know. Unexpected.
yeah.
At least some. Yeah.
Present to the library board on future library plans and projects.
Mm-hmm.
We're working on it. Carrie, Maureen, and I have all been talking about what we see
Yeah,
happening in
like
this library
long-term.
long term.
Yeah.
A lot of movement, like whole areas being moved to create room for other areas. So we'll be talking about that
Good.
in the next couple of months.
Okay.
Increase cash and/or in-kind donations from local businesses and organizations. FJ Chiropractic, as you know, donated the money for the new chairs. We are in the process of contacting banks, credit unions, investment groups about sponsorships of some of our business periodicals, business newspapers and periodicals. Like if they want to sponsor the Wall Street Journal or
Right.
Value Line's the really expensive one, you know.
Mhm.
So that's in the works. It's in progress. Any questions?
Oh, it's
Oh.
looking great.
I
Good
told
job.
Alan, I think
Yeah.
I might have all red.
Whoa.
Mike will be so happy.
He'll say, "Why did we use red?"
He remembers, because see, I don't. I had some kind of mental block with that.
Yeah, yeah,
But he remembers why.
yeah. Oh, goodness. All righty. Well, thank you, and, just give feedback to your staff after tonight's meeting. Just thank them for their,
Oh, I do all the time.
Hard work.
Yeah, yeah. They've
that the
done-
board
yeah.
says, good job. So, okay. Any other questions for her on the action plan or comments? Okay. Under old business, we started to look at the privacy policy and realized there were questions about, some of the storage of the data, and we wanted to be very clear about that. And so Jennifer looked into it. Jennifer, do you just want to point out
Yeah.
what you found
you
out
go
and
to-
what you noticed before we move?
I sent that whole paragraph about the video surveillance to Jim Metelsky over at the city IT department. And he read through it and then he gave me suggestions.
So that's really on the last page.
The very last page, page
which is
33, is where the only changes are.
Right, okay.
So he just had some suggestions, because,
Yeah, because he's in charge of it over there.
he knows, yeah. System actually retains approximately 121 days of recorded images. And then he suggested to put at the bottom, any footage captured by the video surveillance system may be used as part of a criminal investigation or prosecution.
Were there any other questions on that policy? I know we looked at it last month, so.
I didn't have any notes of
Yeah,
anything else.
Right.
And it's a fairly new
A fairly
policy
new
that was
policy.
done by the state.
Exactly. My concern last month was just that we have this new security system and where things were gonna
Right,
be.
and it was
and
good
I-
for him to look at that.
Right, right. Just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
we had our wording correct for that, so. All right, then do I have a motion to approve the privacy policy?
I make a motion to approve the privacy policy, including changes, how do you wanna say that?
The revisions?
The
The
revisions.
revisions. Yep,
That's presented.
As presented.
okay. All right,
Second.
Alan seconds. Any other questions or comments on that? All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Anybody opposed or abstained? Okay, motion carries. And Michelle is not here, so we won't have a, report on the council actions relating to the library. And Anna Lee, tell us what's up with the schools this month.
All right. So kind of similar to last month, we have our PD day coming up at the end of this week, so no students, and we have all our professional staff with development time. So in the morning, it always aligns to our coherence plan. And we have gear up sessions where staff can choose where they want to learn in alignment with our goals. And
Nice.
so we're really excited to partner again. So this time they're going to be looking at online resources with some of Jennifer's team, and then also places that we can find primary resources. And then I will also share with Ms. Polglaze the resources that we're getting in at the Franklin Public Library that we can use for families with different languages in their home.
Super. Yeah. Great. Well, I hope it's I'm sure it always is a productive day when you have those days.
It's always,
So,
it
yeah.
is. It's a lot of learning, and it's never enough time, but we're
Right.
grateful to have the
Yeah.
time.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, good. Good. Well, thank you. Okay, as far as my report, I guess mainly, well, first of all, we had a personnel committee meeting, and we approved those job descriptions, so we didn't have a separate agenda item for the Personnel Committee report, since it was kind of built in to the agenda. I attended the Finance Committee meeting on October 2nd with Alan and Carrie. And it was really different from previous Finance Committee meetings. So we were asked to speak, and none of us were prepared to do that because we've never had to do that before. So I think we did okay.
You did great.
We did, yeah. And I really think that we are appreciated by the Finance Committee. Now, the Finance Committee is composed of some alder people, the mayor and the city administrator like sit in on the meetings. But then it's mostly like this board, community members who make up the Finance Committee. So they seem very supportive of us. We thank them thank the mayor for giving us a requested allotment. And so I thought it was interesting. I think a positive that came out of the meeting was that I reminded them that this building was 20 years old, and it was kind of like that, oh, really? And so then what is the priority for the building? Roof, the heating and cooling system, it's all the big things. And I don't think they were aware of that. So now it's in all their ears and heads that we are in a 20-year-old building and have these major capital expenditures. And so I was glad that we had a chance to remind them of that. And then Mayor Nelson wanted to know what the outcome of our discussion about library fines was. He asked us just straight out about that. So I also think there is a concern from the city side of doing away with fines and not having a plan for that revenue. So if down the line that's the direction our library goes, we would need to have that in place. So
We insinuated, kind of came right out and said it, that there was not a strong support for eliminating fines.
right,
And he was very
Appreciative of that.
yeah. So
So
yes.
we also know people do listen to our recording.
Yeah, and look at our.
I think it's out on the agenda.
Right. The other thing I did this month was, we've been talking for, I don't know, a month or year or whatever, about the what is the city responsible for with this building, and what are we responsible for? And it seems like we've had these big projects come up, and we've worked it out with the city as far as the parking lot and with other things, but not being real clear about what happened 20 years ago when they were planning this. And so I did contact the clerk about an open records request. And her response was, there are boxes and boxes and boxes of documents in the vault. You are welcome to come over anytime and look through them. And so, in my free time someday, I may go over to the city and look through boxes and boxes and boxes. And I'm not even, 100% sure what I'm looking for, but, we'll see where that leads. I'll talk to Jennifer about that and see, and maybe with some of you about
I think we
about
could.
that.
I think we could also contact some of the board members who were on the board at the time. and
Well, I was
see.
thinking, I know we've talked about contacting Dennis, and so that might be, yeah. So anyways.
Any
yeah.
indication, if you get there and you get those bankers boxes
Yeah.
or whatever it is, but is there something on the side that says, at least in general terms, what's in there?
See, I don't know. I
Okay.
haven't gone over to look,
Okay.
because I told her, I'm not even coming over before this meeting here tonight,
Sure.
because, yeah. So.
Well, and who knows what it's gonna say, and who knows if that deal would even still currently work.
And that was my thought too. I mean, if it was an understanding that, you know, they made 20 years ago, what,
Does that even
Yes,
really matter anymore?
right.
Like, it's really just, maybe something new just needs to be set in place in a new agreement now, like.
or project by project, you know,
Whatever it's
whatever.
going to be, we need to just sit down and decide however it's
Right.
going
I
to be.
think it's pretty obvious if we had to get like a new roof, there's no way the library can.
Right.
Is going
Right.
to be able to.
Right.
It would be nice to have something in writing per se, to have a
Right,
good,
right, an
to be
understanding
able
of,
to, right,
to say,
and to
well-
be able to budget properly for it rather than it be up in there every time, because when it is something that might be on the border,
Mhm. Right,
we can't necessarily
right,
budget for something that they might end up saying, well, no, sorry, you're gonna have to cover it. Or they, you know,
Right.
if you want it that way, you're gonna have to cover it,
Mhm.
you know, and we find it's important and that we do need to do it,
right,
then.
Right, and I
we
think
need
that
to know
was,
some of those things.
right, right. And I think that was another positive, and Alan can correct me if I'm wrong, but another positive vibe I got from the finance committee when we talked a little bit about fund balance and the pressure to pay that fund balance down. And once they heard roof and our heating and cooling system,
Yeah.
I kind of got the sense that we might not be pressured to pay that fund balance down the
We've
way we
already
have been in the past
In
couple
case that's
years.
needed.
Because they see what our needs are, yeah.
But we've
And they also
paid
mentioned this guy at Johnson Controls
I was-
who's
yeah.
a grant writer.
Yes.
And he could do something for the roof and add solar to it even.
Yes, and that's, you know what, I didn't even,
I was gonna ask you to cover that.
Oh,
Yes.
that's right, weren't they
Yes.
talking about that? What's his face when he was here talking about, he was doing something?
Yeah.
So when we were at, so when I was at
You mean
the.
your mayor?
No, not the mayor,
What's
the
his
tech
name?
guy.
Oh, Jim
Jim.
Metelsky?
Jim, yeah, when he was here, he was talking about, he was something.
So when we mentioned that, you know, the roof and all these systems, then Kelly Hirsch, the city administrator, brought up the lacrosse, the city of lacrosse did this big
Sustainability
citywide
project.
project, so it included their municipal buildings and the library, and Johnson Controls headed up they were almost acted as like general
Project manager. Yeah.
Right, and so Kelly very quickly set up a meeting with this gentleman from Johnson Controls, and Jennifer and I went to it last week. So he is going to be looking at the first step in the project would be just looking at the past 5 years worth of some of the electric and you know energy bills, and then seeing where he could maybe go from there. And
We all got to take a turn introducing ourselves and then saying something about our department. And mine was, our HVAC system is insane. That we have to run a boiler in the middle of summer to keep us from freezing. And that's just, I mean, seriously, if we all did that on our own, it's like,
I know.
I can't even believe
Right.
that. And he agreed. I mean, so it's kind of like looking at how can we get away from that.
Right, so and another positive thing about this is that, yes, they have like an actual paid person who's a grant writer. And then he cited some state statute or something regarding the bidding process, and it went like this, so I didn't quite understand it other than
They know what they're talking about.
they know what they're talking about, they know what they're doing, they can, I don't wanna say circumvent, but there's wording in the law that they wouldn't have to bid out each project, that,
There was
that-
a term that he used.
yes, there was.
Streamline?
No, but anyways, basically, you know, the bidding would be to manage for the project management, and it may not even have to go to bid for that. And then they would hire out subcontract or whatever, and, you know, somehow be able to circumvent all these individual bidding for each
Which
infill.
takes
through
like a huge amount of time.
Yes, yes. So that's something that's kind of exciting, and it could be something that the entire city benefits from, obviously. A question was raised about then what happens to IRS, and and they would do like what IRS is doing, but more. And I guess the city isn't really under contract with IRS, so they probably would just, do that. So anyways, so
It's
yeah,
about time that people
Productive.
are looking at other
right,
places,
Right.
other
yeah,
Well, it's like kind of like where to find the money. Well, there's grants, but like Lacrosse spent $11 million on their projects.
On
So
what?
it's not like $11 million.
On what?
Their projects,
On the- okay.
all of the projects, not
Gotcha.
just the library, but it was several city buildings.
yeah.
And it was a lot more than that, but they got a grant?
No, they got some grants because there are grants available.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was led to believe when we were at that meeting that we could get a grant that would take care of most all of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if that's
this-
true, but.
Right, and
Yeah.
I just think it
I-
depends.
I've
and-
already reached out to Paul at Johnson Controls to set up a meeting. So he's gonna be they're gonna be setting up meetings with all the
Department
departments
heads,
individually.
yeah.
He'd already come to look at the library, but, I didn't talk to him. I mean, I don't,
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to follow.
to see what
what's-
this, how this progresses citywide, might be exciting. So, anyways, alrighty, Jennifer, your report.
you saw that DPW was super speedy and came today to do the project. And I had a dental appointment this morning with the 3 little grasses that I
Oh,
had purchased
yeah,
in the
yeah.
back of my car. And I pull up,
And they're done.
no,
Oh.
fortunately they weren't.
Oh,
But if
okay.
I had been like half an hour later, they would have been maybe close to past the part where they could have put
Yeah.
my grasses in. But they were able, you go out there, you see these big grasses and then these little baby grasses.
Gotcha.
So they did that. They also pulled out the old barberry bushes. So that's
Yeah.
done. And they seeded over it.
I have a question about that though. Was there anything in the initial contract with the company that did the parking lot to replace damage to landscaping, or, should they have been responsible
No, it was the
for that?
concrete. It was the concrete contractors.
Right.
And they did come and they backfilled with the soil and seeded on a 100-degree day when there was no rain in sight for days.
Right.
Um,
They did a terrible job.
Yeah. DPW had to come and fix that, and they also plan on coming next spring to continue working on
Thank
it.
goodness.
So it's not done.
Gotcha.
Because even their backfilling still was holes everywhere and chunks of rock, and it was very terrible.
It was awful. But I don't think that
that there was
anything
we can
in
do
there.
about it.
Yeah.
Okay. We did see this in the mailings that came out about some of this work on the, which one is it? It's not the storm sewers,
The water.
well, I guess it,
it
yeah, I guess
the
it is the storm sewers, the
Yeah.
overflows.
Yes.
Yes, that, and how much of that is actually, they come, they dig it up,
Mm-hmm.
and they do this and that, but, like the trees and bushes and that they took out to get at the stuff
Right.
is the homeowner's problem.
Okay.
Things like that.
Okay.
So, but I
All
guess
right.
they're not making it up. It's just that's
Yeah, that's just pretty standard for
Yeah.
that kind of project. Okay.
But they did come, and it looks nice.
done. Okay.
I think it actually is nicer than it was before because the curbing helps keep the rock in, and I
Right,
have to
right,
go out
right.
every day. And
So I know Annie had a question about, the marking up of the concrete in front of the
Mm-hmm.
building there, and you said it was going to be power washed, and it was power washed.
no, it hasn't been.
It hasn't been
washed
power washed
Yeah.
yet. Okay.
But I've been at other places where they had concrete work done like us, and it's the same
It's the
markings.
same
I don't
markings,
know
yeah,
what
what you
power
can
washing
do.
is going to do.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
It really bothers Annie.
it does. It does.
So I just,
So, but I'll talk with. Well,
Yeah, just Bob. I know.
I'll talk with Joe.
Talk with Joe. How about, yeah.
In 2 months. I'll
Right.
talk with Joe, and we'll figure out something.
Okay.
But it does, I know it does.
Every time I
bother.
walk
It does
in, I
look
look at it
sloppy.
and think
It does
of
look
Annie.
sloppy, but
It does look sloppy.
I was walking somewhere yesterday
Yeah, the same
with
thing.
Allie and Pete, and I came across some concrete that had been done. It was like, oh, this looks exactly like ours.
Right.
Maybe it was the same company. So yeah.
That's where they were running off to. And
Yeah,
doing
it
it.
would- yeah, taking forever to do our parking lot.
Oh, man.
So cleaning company, I did meet with Ron. A little underwhelmed by his response, which was pretty much, we can't do anything about the cleaners looking at their phones, because that's just what these, we don't pay them. And he said they're, something about they're not paid high enough. I'm like, well then pay them more.
Right.
But anyway, so we're keeping track.
How are you deciding to resolve the fact that we're paying for 4 hours a night but only getting 2 hours a night?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to talk to him. He said he couldn't address that because it's his brother
his
Jim
Well.
who does the personnel.
Well,
And as far as I ask Megan every month when she gets the bill, has there been any reduction? No, there
Right.
hasn't. So when I mentioned that to Ron, he goes, "Oh, is the one guy not getting the job done?" And I'm like,
Doesn't matter.
Well, he is. He's running to get
Right.
it all done,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not doing a good job. And he's only doing it in 2 hours, and we're
paying for
paying
4.
Well, and when we were in here last week, they must have just done the room, and now I can see that they haven't done it again since.
Yeah, they.
Yeah. So I guess that would.
Maybe we need to really start exploring other options, since we did leave that open that you could cancel that contract.
Oh yeah, we can cancel. We have 60 days. I will have to go in front of the common council. But
Better to
Yeah.
get,
if you can get better cleaning for the same amount or even maybe less, then it's a no-brainer.
well, and you had talked about the setups too.
Yeah, the setups is hard. We've been having to stay late to switch the room around, whereas Ryan used to do that when he came in at 5 o'clock. So that's an
Something
issue.
to think about over the next month or two. Yeah, for sure.
I've been trained on the camera system. It's very nice. We actually used it for one.
Oh,
Remember that?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, we do not need to discuss it at our board meeting.
No.
If you have questions about it, ask us off the record. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. It was something not inappropriate.
No.
Just not
It was-
Moving right along.
you'll
Yes.
definitely have to use it for missing kids. Guarantee you. I lose kids here all the time. I mean, I find them right away, but.
Right, yeah.
The public hearing and final vote will be Tuesday, November 14th on the budget. So the public hearing is at 6 p.m. followed by the common council vote at 6:30. Feeling really good. The finance committee made no recommended changes to the library budget.
Excellent.
Right.
So I'm feeling really good that our numbers are gonna stand, and if that's the case, then I feel like, yes, our good work's being acknowledged and appreciated. It will be like probably the best budget we've had in 10 years or more, so.
Excellent.
Our materials locker are constantly busy. We actually had one last week where they weren't sure if they were gonna have enough lockers for all the stuff.
Oh, wow.
So in September, we had 102 items requested for locker pickup, which was amazing considering that for about a week they were inaccessible. So
So if they're all full, then you just have to delay
You have to wait.
notifying until somebody gets it out and then.
right, which
yeah.
constant
they only have a
turnover.
couple days,
and
yeah.
if it got so popular, then the library board would probably want to look at adding a second unit.
Right, that's what I was.
But let's not
Yeah.
getting ahead of myself.
Right,
One unit might be fine.
right.
We're still working on making a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to Doris, I have a contact. So at the
Yeah.
high school, I'm going to give them
That's
the
awesome.
dimensions, and we're going to see what the high school can do. Laura Emanuelson's gonna be doing more outreach to help the children's librarians out, because they were kinda looking at all this outreach and then all of their in-library programs, and it was, so that's good. Mhm. So upcoming, we have trunk or treat. We're looking for pumpkin carvers. I think they're kind of hoping that they can be like a mini pumpkin pavilion or the Whitefish Bay.
Oh, is that cute? Yes.
You know, they have like 35 pumpkins. so,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
And how are your pumpkin carving skills?
Yeah, we
You're
have a pumpkin you
retired.
can.
Yeah, I retired from pumpkin carving.
So if you're interested, Carrie's got 35 pumpkins in the loading dock area that she'll let you take however many you want home to carve. So let me know.
So I just did Halloween haunts at the Ware Nature Center, and they had volunteer groups coming because they do like 300 or more pumpkins, but they had like MIAD students do some of their.
Whoa.
I know, so maybe we could get like
We could get the
art
high
classes
school.
from the
Yeah.
high school next year. Tell
Yeah.
Carrie, art club
Yeah.
from the junior high or high school.
That
Maybe
would be
we could come
really
in
cool.
and
Mhm.
there we go.
Yep. Carrie's just determined, in the health department, they're determined to like get this to be a big thing.
Big thing. Okay.
Our Santa program is November 25th. I have a volunteer and 8 high school students who are going to help out. Yep. And then I'm gone to WLA. Say Thursday, Friday.
Good.
Right now, the forecast for
I know.
Thursday is rainy.
Yeah.
But unless it's actively raining, they're going on with they're going to do it. Unless it's like a real down.
They
Unless
said they
it's
were going to
dangerous.
decide by noon, though. That was
Yeah.
what the email said. So
Were you supposed
But-
to register for trunk or treat this year?
Oh, did you not?
Nope.
Well, come and volunteer, because
will.
that's the other thing Carrie wanted me to ask for, is if anybody wants to come and volunteer.
Yeah. I
Yep,
all right.
so just come volunteer.
Hey.
And the numbers, Alan asked me why the yellow, I don't know why, that was started with a long time ago. But that just means that it's more than last year. And they're looking really good. Our computer sessions was, yeah, our computer sessions were way down, and that I really think had to do with the parking lot.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Did your computer sessions go up, by the way?
No, not that I noticed.
Okay. I mean, ours were like, I almost emailed Jen Schmidt to say, can you double check?
Yeah.
Because that just didn't seem, well, I guess we could double check it ourselves
Sure, sure.
In the software, so. But, yeah, they just were way down, and I'm saying, I mean, amazingly, our gate count was healthy,
Yeah.
circulation was healthy. And I'm like, computer sessions were horrible. So I don't know what was going on with that.
Yeah, it's just a fad.
And then 148 meeting room uses was this exact same number as last year.
Oh, funny.
So that was it.
Oh, our
Good
meeting
deal.
rooms are really busy.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good month considering I thought it was going to be horrible because of the parking lot.
Right. Right.
People were not ever irritated. We didn't ever get yelled
Well, they
at
were
for the
so
parking lot.
excited to see there was a new parking lot going in. They didn't care how bad it was, like
That
to
it
get
took
in and out.
4
Maybe.
months to do.
Oh, goodness. Well, sounds good. Do you want to just move right into the report of the foundation then?
Yep. Since Annie's not here,
Yeah.
I put myself down. So we had our literary luncheon, 41 attendees on October 10th with Larry Watson. He was very good. He was a great speaker. Very interesting. Early estimates is that they raised somewhere between $2,500 and $3,000.
Okay.
Is
Was that their goal, or what was their
They
goal?
don't really,
They
I
don't?
don't know that they really have a
Oh,
goal.
okay.
They kind of see it as a community event.
Right.
And one of the board members, Dennis,
Yeah.
his goal is just not to lose money on it.
Gotcha.
That's a good goal.
So, and we didn't.
Yeah.
And we made
Yeah.
some.
Yeah.
So
Good.
it was
Okay.
good. We're looking ahead to next year.
Good.
I mean, we like the Polish Center. We could keep our costs down by having it here. The Polish Center is a really nice venue though,
Mm-hmm,
so we'll see. We're looking at, authors already.
sure.
We could invite.
Good,
That's it.
okay.
Oh, one more thing.
When did,
We're gonna have the bake sale. They're gonna have the bake sale coming up and a coffee sale.
Okay,
So look ahead to that. It will need bakers,
is that,
volunteer bakers.
is that gonna be
Is that
during the,
December.
That's gonna be December 9th during Brinny's. They did not wanna do it during the Sit with Santa program because they felt like it's better
yeah.
to
I
pair it
think
with the
it'll be
library program.
I think it'll
Plus,
be
they wanted
so-
it closer to Christmas, I think.
Yeah, it's closer
And
to
will the
Christmas.
calendar raffle tickets be,
Yes, they're already
Available.
done.
okay.
They're done, so I just have to
Okay.
get them printed and get everything out.
Okay.
So yeah, we're forging right ahead.
Cause you know, every program I'm at, I'm gonna help you guys sell those at.
Okay, then, the Personnel Committee will be getting, the evaluations out at the beginning of November with the due date a couple weeks later. So the Personnel Committee committee will then be meeting November 27th prior to our board meeting. So there will be a Personnel Committee meeting that night, November 27th at 5, and then the regular board meeting at 6. So does anyone know right now off the bat if you are unable to attend on November 27th? Alrighty, sounds good. Then I need a motion to adjourn.
I
So-
make a motion.
Second.
Alrighty, Doris and Alan, all in favor?
Aye.
I
Okay, you guys have a nice night.